2, live.
You're now watching two old farts making noises.
Wow. Noosh,
Hello,
hi.
everybody.
And we'd like to welcome Father Dave today to the show with his dog collar on. He looks
Thank you.
very
Thank
Church
you.
of England.
Thank you.
You don't have a funny hat or funny shoes. And Noosh, just so you know, when you dance during the intro, nobody can see you but us, but we love it.
Oh, it was just for you, but that's fine. I mean, I
Okay.
would dance to the little music.
We do, but
Like
because
your
it's
mother, if there's a beat, how can people? I never understood how can people sit down at a concert when music is being played and just, I mean, nod a little bit the head, barely some. How can you do it? I can't do it. As soon as, even when I hear the woodpecker, when I walk, I start bouncing.
That's because they're all white
Yeah.
people. So they're all from the Church of England. That's why, because
that's
they're
what
all
it is.
they have no rhythm.
The woodpeckers?
No, the
Yeah.
people that don't dance. So,
Woodpecker?
ay, ay, ay.
How are you
We all,
gentlemen doing this
we all
evening?
dance like drunk uncles. That's the way it is.
Yeah, even the women, and some of the women look like drunk uncles. So it's very,
Yeah.
very cool. Yeah.
Are all the uncles drunk?
Yes, it's the
Mostly,
UK. Yeah. It's a law. Yeah, you
Yeah.
start drinking it too in the UK. It's a law.
So only
And at
children
weddings,
are lucky.
weddings and funerals. Weddings and funerals, drink a lot, fall over. Normally take your trousers off. First of all, you take your shirt off and dance. You know,
That
even
was
if
a
it's
big
like
worry for
minus,
weddings and a funeral.
whatever.
Mm.
Yeah. Well,
And any day that ends in a
it's-
Y, they drink too.
Yeah.
Any day that ends in a Y. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to actually only one wedding in America, and they had the whole 9 yards like Americans do, and then the last song, like "Come on and jumping down" or whatever the lyrics are.
Come on,
Jump,
jumping
jump,
down.
whatever.
Oh, the song
Favorite
from
song.
Animal House, Jump.
Yeah. So everybody
Okay.
was jumping. I felt like in a movie. It was great. It was my
Okay.
first year in America. I was like, wow.
Wow.
Movie style.
In the 1930s when they did the jitterbug, that was popular. Yeah. So never mind.
I missed it.
You missed it.
Yeah,
So hey,
Yeah.
it's another week we haven't seen you. Well, we have. We kind of saw you midweek. You were on another show with us.
True.
And it did really well.
It was great.
And what do you have for us this week?
So this week, I wanted to do things a little bit more differently, which I've been working on this week. So for my networking group, I usually do a mindful meditation minute that I start the meeting with, and I usually always prepare everything. And I am working from now on my spontaneity, because I do believe that I'm greatly lovingly spontaneous, and whatever I wish to talk about will sound wonderfully. So I'm gonna give it a try with all of you, my darlings, today.
But I have a question. How did your audition go for Snoopy?
Oh my god. Okay, Snoopy. So the audition went great, but one thing that I did not think about. So as soon as I came home from the audition, Michael asked me if I saw the fine print. I mean, not the fine print, but besides the colors and the head.
Yeah.
That the rehearsal is almost every day of the week from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. for the next 2 months.
Wow.
Which I did not see. So thankfully, they found another Snoopy. So I'll be Snoopy in my mind. So my second order of business is to try to convince them to do a production for regular people like me, if you could call me that, where we can do a presentation once a year, or maybe twice a year, like winter one and a summer one. So like this, we actually have 6 months to learn everything and rehearse, and not 2 months going non-stop. So we'll see about that.
So the rehearsals are every day of the week, 6 to 9, 6 to 10.
Besides Sunday, and then we added that if needed, and whenever the crew is available, if needed more, then for more. So it's for people.
And how long would you have to do that for? Because normally
for 2 months.
For 2 months, and
And how long does the play run for?
I mean, it's an hour and a half.
No. How long does it run? Is it one performance, or is there 5 performances?
No, they have little vignettes for the Snoopy. It was supposed to be little vignettes of
Okay.
whatever. I mean, I'm not very familiar with Snoopy that much.
No, but I was gonna say, is the play run for a week, 2 weeks, a month? How long?
No, just the weekend. It's 1 weekend or 2 weekends.
Wow, so 4 days, and you rehearse basically 60 days for 4 days.
Yeah.
Wow, sounds like most people's wedding.
They'll probably get the words wrong as well. So there you go.
That's true. All right. Well, these things happen. All right. Well, it is what it is.
It was not within your destiny to do it. That's the way.
No, absolutely not. But one thing, drum roll, that is within my destiny to do. I am voted in as of today. I saw the town supervisor. You are looking at the new president of the Chamber of Commerce.
Wow. Congratulations.
Wow.
Isn't that great? Finally, it's you at the head of the Chamber of Commerce. Stephen, are you proud?
I'm so proud because we own everything else. We might as well own the Chamber of Commerce.
Exactly.
Do you get a chamber pot? Do you get a chamber pot now that you're head of the chamber?
She doesn't know what a chamber pot is, David.
I mean, as the chamber music type of stuff?
The chamber pot is what they used to go to the loo in back in the day.
Oh, I could have probably known that. I was thinking chamber music.
Well, just
it's a versatile word, I guess.
If you're head of the chamber, you thought, you're presented with a chamber pot. I don't know, with your name on it, maybe.
Now you ruined this for me. Every time that I'm gonna have a chamber meeting,
you're gonna go, where's my chamber pot?
Yeah. You should take the pot with you. So like.
Well, in New York is.
I always bring pots of.
You could say to people, look, I'm prepared for all the crap I'm about to hear. Here you go. You see.
And is New York cannabis legal or not legal? Is cannabis legal or not legal in New York now?
The state of New York.
Is it legal everywhere? I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. I was gonna say, because if it's legal, then next time you say chamber pot, it would have a whole different meaning to it.
Oh. No, I'll leave that to Snoop Dogg if you haven't run for anything. Although didn't he make a book with Martha Stewart?
Yes, he made a book with Martha Stewart, and it's called How to Eat a White Woman. So yeah.
Is that true?
I have no idea. I just made that up.
I think he's got more chance of him seeing him running for a bus than running for president.
No, I would vote for him as president.
No.
I would in a minute. Sure, why not? Look at the clowns we have in the last 10, 20 years. Come on. I would vote for him. My opinion means nothing, but Nixon, even though he was anti-Semitic, took us off the gold standard and screwed around, was probably one of the last great presidents we had. Other than Clinton did some good stuff. Obama did some good stuff. Where I lost respect for Obama is when he accepted the Nobel Peace Prize before he actually did anything. He should have been like, no, I didn't do anything. Give it to me in 2 years. And then after Obama, now we got nothing. So
what's the gig with Jimmy Carter? Because he was pretty poorly, I heard on the BBC.
Jimmy Carter has dementia, and my understanding is, from I read in the Financial Times and a news alert that came out like a couple of days ago, is that instead of doing hospice at a hospital or a hospice, he's going to do it at home. So I guess Jimmy, he's 99 years old, and I guess Jimmy may not make it to 100. But Jimmy was an interesting guy. I always liked him. He just had a nice way about him. So
he seemed to be so very, very chilled, I thought.
Yes, Jimmy was very. I don't think anything. Jimmy's problem is that when he couldn't, during the Iran-Contra, when the embassy got taken and they did the failed helicopter mission that all the guys died in the desert, that killed him.
You know why it failed? It was full of peanuts.
But yeah, that killed them. And then there was a book I read after Reagan got elected that the Reagan guys were talking to the Iranians and saying, don't release them until we get into office. And that's why you'll notice right after Reagan became president, the hostages were released within like days, because they made a deal not to do it while Carter was there. So the Reagan administration actually held the hostages longer than they could have been, because I guess the Carter administration was going to get them released. And they were like, no, don't do it. We want Reagan to do it and make him look good as a president. So there's politics all over the the world. So
this is why I don't vote. This is completely crazy. Yeah. Although my mom is having a little, I mean, I don't know if she discovered. No, she didn't discover, obviously, but she's rediscovering Winston Churchill.
Oh, I love Winston.
Oh, you do?
Oh my God, are you kidding? I have 50 books on Winston Churchill.
So the first quote, and she's so funny, like she just like gets in those like little niches of information or passion, it can be history,
Right.
wellness, anything but politics though. We don't touch politics, us women in our household. But she came to me, it's like, oh my God, Churchill is the best. She told me, do not wish health or wealth to anybody. Because just like in the Titanic, they all were healthy and wealthy, but they had no luck. Always wish good luck to people.
Okay.
Well, that's the first one that she ran to me at 6 a.m. to tell me.
Here's the best quote that Churchill had, and I use it to this day. He says, the reason that I'm at 200% is because I eat too much, and I drink too much, and I smoke too much.
That's a good one for you, Steve.
And that's why I'm at 200%. That's why I read that. I have an ashtray where I smoke my cigars, and that's the quote on the ashtray because I'm a big Winston Churchill fan. In fact, Davidoff, and if you want to pull a cigar out, you're welcome, Davidoff. I have what they call the Churchill series, and it's called After Dark Churchills. And of course, Winston's profile is on it, and it's a beautiful stogie. And I sit back with a scotch and just enjoy my Winston Churchill and Davidoff, and I'm like in heaven.
So that would be a cigar of choice. I'm just thinking, when I have my firstborn, what should I get for my future husband? Which cigar?
For Michael, those candy cigars you can chew? That's what you get for Michael. When you have a baby, you can get what they call the year of cigars from Davidoff. Like I'm year of the tiger, so I have like 50 of those, so I can smoke them whenever I want.
Are you tiger too? I'm tiger too.
Yeah. There you go. You can get a year of the tiger. You can get a year of the tiger cigar, or a year of whatever the child's born from Davidoff. You can get.
What he is.
Well, you'll find out when the baby's born. You'll figure out the year. And then the other thing you could,
of Michael.
Yeah, for a good cigar for Michael, just to get, you can get him like a nice Davidoff, not a nighttime Churchill, but just a nice Churchill from Davidoff. And since Michael doesn't smoke cigars, you're going to want to go to like a medium to light, not like a full. But most of the stuff I smoke, like the After Dark Churchills, are full body. The other Churchills are a Millennium blend. They're all nice medium to light. So if you smoke that and you've never smoked a cigar, you're not going to throw up.
Okay.
So yeah. So there's when the time comes, let me know. I'll give you a list.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Not yet.
So there you have it. All right.
Things to think about.
Are you planning on getting pregnant?
Well, I've been planning to get pregnant for the last 20 years. It just hasn't happened yet. So.
All right. Well, do we need to give Michael instructions? Because we can help him.
I know you can, Steven.
We have a video. We've got videos. Listen, I made love. My God. Listen, my wife only has sex with me when she wants to do something. Like we had sex last night, and she used it to time an egg. So there's a reason that she used it to time an egg, a 3-minute egg. Yeah. So there's a reason when we have sex. In fact, we went to the marriage counselor, and he said to us, "Listen, you should have lots and lots of sex." And I said, "Great, now we're never going to see each other." So, I mean, there's just these things that, you have to, like when you're married, you have to understand that and the whole thing. I have a stepson, so I don't have a kid. So,
I mean, you have it part-time, I guess.
No, yeah, he's with us a few weeks, and then he goes back to his dad, and he comes back, and yeah, so we have that. We have the stepchild thing going on, which is very nice. It's good. So, because when he does something stupid, I'm like, it's not mine, so I don't care. So when he does something great, I'm like, he learned it from me.
Of course, Steven.
Modesty.
Shall we come back to something more reasonable, like the
history of colors? Yes.
Lives of colors.
Yes, please.
I just took down finally yesterday Christmas, all my Christmas decor and Christmas windows. I was dreading to do it because it took me 3 days to do my whole installation of those antique glass Christmas balls that I hung on a thread of fish line, and then I had to hang them one by one, so it's the right color, it's the right length, the right width. So that took me 3 days. I thought it would take me 3 hours. It took me 3 days. So to take it down,
I have the same problem with my balls as well. I have to hang them at the same
3 days. My goodness, you poor thing.
Oh, yeah,
I'll have someone. I'll call someone for you. But anyway, so I found
and different colors as well. It's amazing.
Depending on the day, sure. But so yeah, I found
depending on the temperature, I think.
Well, we'll see next year to see how I'm going to untangle them. But it was a semi-successful system to take it down. But anyway, finally I took it down. And now I have beautiful, I'll make a short video to show you what I have in my window now. There's really nice pine trees made out of what I believe an industrial hairbrush for trucks.
Nice. Okay.
And I'm going to be hanging hearts so that I have some Valentine's situation day happening from now on. And yesterday I went to the Dollar General to buy, what was it, batteries?
Noosh, do I have to buy you a diary? Because with Miss Christmas, do I have to buy you a special diary? Because we've already had Christmas and Valentine's Day is already passed as well. So.
I know, but this year I am at my own rhythm, David. So
there you go.
Okay. Well, hey, you're the Noosh.
Yesterday. I had a whole team of kids yesterday. They were so happy. They were visiting a friend of mine, and I saw them at the bakery. There's about a minute and a half away from the Noosh Nook. And I told them that Santa forgot about me this year, and I still have all my Christmas stuff. Do you want guys to come and have one last day of Christmas with me? So we had a whole Christmas morning. It was fantastic. And now we're starting Valentine's Day. And not only with my heart. So yesterday when I went to get those batteries at the Dollar General, as I enter, I see something that now my mother told me why this morning. I see a bear who's almost the size of me, a stuffed bear. And back in the days in France, those stuffed animals were hundreds and hundreds of francs. So still I dare ask them how much, because there's no price. I found $1.99, but that because a sticker was glued on him.
Yeah.
And she comes back from the back and tells me that he's $30. Hold on.
Yeah, I think Noosh bought a bear.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think we're about to see a mega bear. Dun, dun, dun. There he is. Oh, there we go. There's a beauty.
Look, this beauty.
That's cool. That's beauty.
I took him last night with me. So I'm going to have one at the Nook, and I'm going to buy one so that I can sleep with him. He's so comfortable.
Where's Michael going to sleep?
Oh my God, he's in his own room. He snores. We have our own separate bedrooms like they used to do it in the day.
And just so you know, that's probably why you're not getting pregnant.
Not still in training.
But that was quite normal. It's only when the cities became more and more industrialized.
Exactly, because we have no more room, but that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden people decided, well, maybe we should all jump into one bed because it's a lot cheaper and a lot warmer. But traditionally, people would always sleep apart. So
exactly, and I'm very traditional, as you can see.
Yes,
how do you like my new hair? Do you know that show? What is it? With the woman from Home Alone, the wife.
Okay.
Schitt's Creeks.
Schitt's Creeks. Yes.
I just saw a few episodes, and she has all of those hair pieces. Yeah. Because I can color my hair. I mean, I'll never color my hair. I can cut my hair and it grows back quickly. So I think I want to do like her and buy a bunch of different hairs. And be different Nooshes every other day, whenever I want.
Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah,
that's the true human fabric right there. Just
remember, hair today, gone tomorrow.
There you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
So, but wait, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so with Bear and my little hearts, I'll be having Valentine's Day. Oh yes, and with Valentine's Day, we are going to pick. Let me see. Should we do another shade of red, or we're gonna take the red into? Oh, we're going to do this one. All right.
Okay.
Let me... Oh, wow. There's so many. Holy macaron. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 choices.
Okay.
3 choices.
David, you pick. You pick, David.
Okay. Is it red or red?
So, no.
Father David will pick.
So, it's going to be... and I will show you.
Bless you, my son.
You're welcome.
So, we're going to do... Actually, I'm going to give you one that I like the name of. So here, it's going to be Scarlet, Cochineal, Vermillon,
Scarlet,
Hematite, Madder, or Dragon's Blood.
No, Scarlet. Anything with the name Scarlet on it, that's the one for me.
Okay, we'll do Dragon's Blood next week.
There you go.
All right. Ooh, or we can just do red. They have a whole thing about the red. Didn't we read it? Let me see. No.
We didn't. We haven't read about Scarlet though. So let's read about Scarlet.
Let's read about Scarlet. All right. Here we go.
Scarlet O'Hara probably will start off with.
Sure.
Well, they probably should be mentioned, I would imagine.
Let's find out.
So on February 8th, 1587, Mary, Queen of Scots, was executed after 18 years of imprisonment. Contemporary accounts of her death at Fotheringay Castle are gruesome. Several report that it took 2 blows to sever her neck. Goodness. Others say that when her head was held aloft, her wig came off to reveal the near bald scalp of a sick old woman. What many agree on, however, is that before the execution, Mary carefully removed her somber outer clothes to reveal a bright scarlet underground. Sympathetic onlookers would have had no difficulty unraveling her intended message. Scarlet was closely associated in the Catholic Church with martyrdom. For those hostile to the Scottish Queen and her faith, however, her bright red dress was a clear link to the archetypal Scarlet Woman, the biblical whore of Babylon. This binary reading is typical of Scarlet. Although it has long been prized as a color for the prestigious and powerful, it has, from the beginning, always been a victim of unintended meanings. The very name, for example, did not initially refer to a color at all, but to a kind of particularly admired woolen cloth. From the 14th century, because fine cloth was so often colored with kermes, Kermes, the brightest and most resilient dye stuff then known, the word came to denote the color instead. Like cochineal, Kermes dye was made from the bodies of insects so small that they were often mistaken for seed or grain. Oh my god, I think I know exactly what they look like. I used to kill them as a child. I'll have to check.
Plus, there's a plus.
Pliny, writing in the 1st century AD, described it as a berry that becomes a worm. Making a single gram of this precious red required the bodies of up to 80 female kermes beetles imported from southern Europe. Making it very expensive, and getting precisely the right tone took skill. The finished product, though, was a dye so bright and color fast that cloth dyed with it became the epitome of luxury. An account book from the reign of King Henry VI, who ruled England during the 15th century, shows that it took a master mason a month to earn enough to buy a single yard of the cheapest scarlet cloth. The dearest cost twice as much. Charlemagne, the Frankish king who ruled during the early Middle Ages, is said to have worn scarlet leather shoes when he was crowned Holy Roman Emperor in 800 AD. Richard II of England followed sartorial suit 500 years later. Sumptuary laws passed in Leon and Castile in the 13th century restricted use of the color to kings. Red-haired Elizabeth I, who knew a thing or two about the power of appearances, enjoyed wearing scarlet as a princess. It would not do, though, as a color for the Virgin Queen, and so after her coronation in 1558, she took to wearing neutral or broken tones like tawny gold and ash. However, this emblem of majesty was too useful to cast aside completely. Elizabeth hit upon the ruse of dressing her ladies-in-waiting and retainers in scarlet instead, presumably so that they could act as a dramatically symbolic backdrop. William Shakespeare, in his role as a royal actor, was given 4.5 yards of cloth with which to fashion himself scarlet livery to wear the coronation of Elizabeth's successor, James I. And where wealth goes, power soon follows. Pope Paul II decreed in 1464 that his cardinals were to wear robes of rich scarlet instead of purple. The Porterian purple mollusks, we read about that, being old but extinct by this time. That's right, they killed them all. Crazy people. The habit stuck, and Scarlet became inextricably linked with insignia, particularly in the church and academia, a heritage Mary was drawing on at her execution. Although many associate the British with the idea of red military uniforms, Scarlet's dalliance with men in uniform dates back much further. The highest orders of Roman generals wore bright red paludamenta, cloaks signaling leadership, which fastened over one shoulder. It was taken up by the English under Oliver Cromwell, who specified that officers' coats should be dyed scarlet in that's for you, David, Gloucestershire, using a newly discovered recipe. In 1606, Cornelis Drebbel, a Dutch scientist and the first man to build a working submarine, 1606, wow, first submarine? My goodness. Was making a thermometer in his lab in London. As the likely apocryphal story goes, he boiled up a solution of purple red cochineal and left it under his windowsill to cool. Somehow, a phial of aqua regia, a strong acid mixture, broke and spilled across the tin window frame, splashing into the cooling cochineal and instantly turning the liquid bright scarlet. One dyer's manual called the result flame-colored scarlet. The finest and brightest color, the author wrote, on the orange, full of fire, and of a brightness which dazzles the eye. Naturally, this brilliant red has had plenty of detractors too. It was a favorite of the wife of Bath, Chaucer's morally ambivalent character in the Canterbury Tales. Shakespeare used it in conjunctions with hypocrites, indignation, and sin. A purple passage from the Book of Revelation, that's for you, Stephen.
I love that book.
King James Bible, I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, led Puritans to argue that the entire Catholic Church, now known for its red-robed cardinals, was evil. It was this heritage that Aleister Crowley, the 20th century oculist, drew on when he created the Scarlet Woman, the thelemic deity of female desire and sexuality. And while the hue has been almost continually in fashion since the 14th century, not everyone has approved. Scarlet is a charming color, Arthur's magazine conceded in February 1885, in spite of its being a favorite with Indians and barbarians generally.
Wow. Let me tell you, when I heard about the girl on the beast, I was at attention right there.
Because of the color.
There you go. Scarlet Letter, the Scarlet Letter. So yeah, that's going to be very cool. Yeah, that's very nice.
I love this
and
book.
Of course, the British Army used red because if you were injured or injured in a battle and your blood would spill onto your tunic, and the opposing forces wouldn't see that you'd taken a hit. So that's why they have red coats.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Smart.
Nice.
Very
So
smart.
do we have a story coming from our favorite book?
That's right. Here's another lover, Bernard Weber.
Have we ever reached out to him and go, Bernard, you need to come on our show?
You know what? I think I drafted the email.
Okay.
So that's a start, but I did not send it out in the world. So
you are his biggest fan. You should literally just say, I quote you every week on my show, and our listeners love it. We would love to interview you and tell us how you came up with this fakakta BS that you talk about in this book.
No, but it's so sweet. Come on, remember the Solomons. The river
I know, the Lake of Love.
Yeah.
The Lake of Love. Yeah.
The Lake of Love. But Noosh, how did you book it? What's the history of this book then? Because it's in French. So was it a bestseller in France, or?
I have no idea. I'm in my own little bubble. It was a bestseller for me. In my world, everybody read this book many times like me.
Oh my God.
Oh, I do live in my own little world. Am I cute or what? But
adorable.
Yeah, it is adorable. I don't know. Is it still adorable? I believe it's still adorable, even at any age.
Listen,
you
you're
better-
in upstate.
you better ask
You're
the-
in upstate.
It stayed there.
Yeah, you're in upstate nowhere, New York. It's adorable there.
What do you
So
mean
there you
nowhere, New York? This is the epicenter of life.
Of-
You
yeah,
just
of Snoopy.
Yes,
overreacted.
It's the epicenter of
ask-
Snoopy.
You have to ask the bear if the bear will have an opinion upon the book, I'm sure.
Oh my god! So for another thing, just so you know how much in my bubble I was, so I bought the bear yesterday.
Is the bear in the bubble now as well? Is that official?
Oh, absolutely! He's officially in my bubble, and so I
Okay.
put him in the
Bubble
front
bear.
like, in the front seat with me.
Right.
And while I'm driving, I'm just so pumped. There he is, sitting with his smile, and I just sound like, okay, like, you know, it's me. If you want to come alive, you can. It's totally cool. So,
Oh my God.
so I'll be waiting. My
Okay.
baby.
Yeah, well, maybe
today he fell asleep with me, and he ended up on the floor.
maybe Noosh was probably a little bit more comfortable if you'd have put him on the back seat, and then he'd have thought you were an Uber driver. You know, and then
an Uber driver.
Yeah, an Uber driver. Yeah.
Uber driver. All right, so I'm gonna do one cute. I don't know what it is, but since we just talk about God, here's the drawing. Whatever.
Oh, nice. That's a bicycle.
Penny farthing.
Penny farthing. God. So I'm gonna just read it.
Obviously.
It's like 3 lines. I'm gonna read it in French and then translate.
That God's on a bicycle again. There you go.
Well, something's up. Something. Let's see. Dieu, par définition, est omniprésent et omnipotent. S'il existe, il est donc partout et peut tout faire. Mais s'il peut tout faire, est-il aussi capable de générer un monde d'où il est absent et où il ne peut rien faire? God. Steven?
Does that say that you... Does that say
Wait, this is going to be good because she's already laughing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, wait. Oh, no, stop. Right. Let's just go. Father David's going to not want to hear this. Go ahead. This is going to be great.
No,
God, by definition, is omnipresent and omnipotent. Are those English words just to start with?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If he exists, he is then everywhere and can do everything.
Correct.
But if he can do everything, is he also capable of generating a world from which he is absent and where he cannot do anything?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And here's the funny thing. If you look at the Bible, I like to call it the big book of fables. But if you look at the Old Testament, which were the Jews, because that's the best book, because we wrote it, not the Gentile crap.
That's
but anyway,
why he likes us.
But if you look at that book, the Old Testament, he's a really pissed off God, right? Because he's smiting people, killing people, doing this, doing that, and then all of a sudden, you get into the New Testament, and all of a sudden, God's on smoking cannabis. He's happy. He's got like ayahuasca going on. Everything is great. So it's very interesting.
The thing is, Stephen, he's still reasonably pissed off because he was so pissed off he thought he'd just throw his son out and chuck him down in all this crap we're living in, and then for a party trick, we're going to nail him to 2 bits of wood. I mean, that's what a good father does for you, isn't it?
Well, it's that Christian thing, if you want to look at the Christian thing, it's like all their little inquisitions and killing people and crusades and all that crap. So religion's the biggest scam going on, whatever religion. I will say, though, I like Buddhism and Taoism because it's very calming and
Absolutely.
And yes, Noosh, I have my little beads. So, but I do like Buddhism and Taoism. Judaism is interesting because there's some history to it. The Christian stuff, it's a fairy tale for me. I'm sorry, it's just a fairy tale. I have that book. So,
Alan Watts. I mean, the main guide for me for now. I mean, it's been a few years, I guess, that I discovered Alan Watts, but I keep re-listening to him. It's like always a waterfall of common sense that washes over me, and all the Tao that is read by Wayne Dyer. My goodness, his amazing oceanic voice. It's just so good. And the thing is, like, it's not religious. It's just, for me, it's really just the essence of common sense, so that everything goes well with any type of people in any type of situation.
I will tell you the best book that I would tell you the best book that I read on all of it, Taoism, Buddhism, whatever. And I think it's one of the best, and it's a very cute book that anybody can read. It's called The Tao of Pooh. Winnie the Pooh. It's called The Tao of Pooh. He has a book called The Tao of Pooh, and it's one of those books you read. It's all full of Poohisms, but it's all basically Taoism and Buddhism and everything rolled into one, but it's all done as Winnie the Pooh, and it is absolutely adorable. You'll smile and chuckle through the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
What I really like about Winnie the Pooh is that he's like, the bit where he says, like, today is your unbirthday. So every day is, you get 364 unbirthdays. I said it to people as well. I said, happy unbirthday, when people are being miserable.
Alice in Wonderland, the Tea Party, the Crazy Rabbit and the Mad Hatter. A very unhappiest birthday to me. Remember? A very unhappiest birthday to me.
But Lewis Carroll, there's a strange story about Lewis Carroll because Queen Victoria read the two books and said to Mr. Carroll, they're fantastic. Please send me more of your books that you've written. And he was very apprehensive, and he got another letter saying, yes, please send me the other books you've written. But he was a mathematician. So he sent her books about mathematics.
Lewis Carroll, yes, was a mathematician, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Can I read you a poem by him?
Yes, you can read a poem.
The Mad Gardener's Song.
No, read it.
It's so good. Yeah. If you don't know, I'll definitely read it for you.
Please.
Right. Okay. He thought he saw an elephant that practiced on a fife. He looked again and found it was a letter from his wife. At length I realize, he said, the bitterness of life. He thought he saw a buffalo upon the chimney piece. He looked again and found it was his sister's husband's niece. Unless you leave this house, he said, I'll send for the police. He thought he saw a rattlesnake that questioned him in Greek. He looked again and found it was the middle of next week. The one thing I regret, he said, is that I cannot speak. He thought he saw a banker's clerk descending from the bus. He looked again and found it was a hippopotamus. If this should stay to dine, he said, there won't be much for us. He thought he saw a kangaroo that worked a coffee mill. He looked again and found it was a vegetable pill. Were I to swallow this, he said, I should be very ill. He thought he saw a coach and four that stood beside his bed. He looked again and found it was a bear without a head. Poor thing, he said, poor silly thing, it's waiting to be fed. He thought he saw an albatross that fluttered round the lamp. He looked again and found it was a penny postage stamp. You'd best be getting home, he said, the nights are very damp. He thought he saw a garden door that opened with a key. He looked again and found it was a double rule of 3. And all its mystery, he said, is clear as day to me. He thought he saw an argument that proved he was the Pope. He looked again and found it was a bar of mottled soap. A fact so dread, he faintly said, extinguishes all hope.
Very nice. Ta-da, very good. Mr. Carroll, thank you very much.
Yeah, Lewis Carroll.
My favorite one is he thought he saw a rattlesnake that questioned him in Greek. He looked again and found it was the middle of next week. That's totally something that my brain would come up with.
I like that. That's very cool. Very, very cool. Noosh, you're a wealth of information. We love it. That's why people love your show.
Well, that's good.
So I think we're going to have to do a little bit more Lewis Carroll as well because you're so good at reading.
Yes,
I can arrange for that. Well, I'm going to end with a game, with a French game. It's called the game of Eleusis. So I don't know if Eleusis.
Oh, I played a French game yesterday.
Oh my God! Here we go again.
You ready? We played this French game yesterday. It's a new version of Russian roulette. You pass around 6 girls, and one of them had VD. Yeah. So it was a fun game.
You're
That's terrible
fired. Game. You're fired from the show.
Thank you very little.
Le jeu d'Eleusis, mes amours. Tous mes petits amours qui parlent français, c'est pour vous. Le jeu d'Eleusis, c'est un jeu dont le début est de trouver sa règle. On utilise 2 jeux de 52 cartes qu'on distribue jusqu'à épuisement. Avant la partie, un des joueurs invente une règle personnelle et la note sur un papier pour qu'on soit sûr qu'il n'en changera pas en cours de route. Celui qui invente la première règle est considéré comme le premier dieu. On nomme cette première règle la loi du monde. Le jeu démarre. Un joueur pose une carte et il annonce « Le monde commence à exister ». Le joueur Dieu dit alors « Cette carte est bonne » ou « Cette carte n'est pas bonne ». Chacun à son tour pose une carte de son choix. Les mauvaises cartes sont mises de côté. Les bonnes continuent de s'empiler sous les yeux des joueurs qui essaient de trouver la logique dans cette sélection. Lorsqu'un joueur pense avoir trouvé la loi du monde, il se déclare prophète. Ce prétendant arrête de poser ses cartes et c'est lui qui, à la place du dieu, dit aux autres « celle-là est bonne » ou « celle-là n'est pas bonne ». Le joueur Dieu surveille le prophète. Si le prophète se trompe une fois, il est destitué et n'a plus le droit de jouer. Les autres continuent à chercher la règle. Quand un prophète a répondu 10 fois juste, il énonce ce qu'il estime être la loi du monde et compare avec ce qui est écrit sur le papier. S'il a trouvé, il a gagné. Si personne ne trouve la règle et que tous les prétendants au rôle du prophète se trompent, le joueur Dieu a gagné. On lit alors à haute voix la loi du monde. Et on vérifie qu'elle était trouvable. Attention. Si la loi était trop difficile, c'est le joueur Dieu qui est disqualifié. Ce qui est intéressant, c'est d'inventer une règle. Simple et pourtant difficile à trouver. Par exemple, on alterne une carte au-dessus du 7 et une carte au-dessous du 7. C'est très difficile à repérer car on va naturellement observer les figures et les alternances des cartes rouges et noires. La règle, que des cartes rouges sauf les 10e, 20e et 30e, est impossible à trouver. De même, toutes les cartes sauf le 7 de cœur. De même, toutes les cartes sauf le 7 de cœur. Cette autre, n'importe quelle carte est valable, risque d'être difficile car si les jeux précèdent étaient sophistiqués, les joueurs anticiperont la complexité. Quelle peut être donc la stratégie des joueurs pour gagner ? En fait, chaque joueur a intérêt à se déclarer au plus vite prophète, même si c'est risqué.
And that, as they say, is another show. Noosh, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. We will see you next Friday.
That was lovely. Tonight, by the way, this is why I'm trying my share outfit because I have my first open mic whilst starting my band with my friend Tessa Orlick. We will be called the Blinking Metronomes.
Okay, well, the Blinking Metronomes need to come perform on your show.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Okay. I mean, we just
along with the right lovers, of course. You know, we have to have
I'll bring all the Solomons to sing with us.
I can't wait. That's going to be exciting. Noosh, we will see you next week. If you love Noosh's show, which why wouldn't you? Please don't forget to subscribe, like the channel, and we will all see you next week.